very much, Mr. President. I'm here on the floor to join Senator Daines in recommending the legislative appropriations bill to our colleagues. I note his history lesson, 10 years since we've passed a legislative branch appropriations bill on the floor of the Senate, but during none of those 10 years was Senator Daines chairman of the Appropriations Subcommittee on the legislative branch. So things are changing here, and it has been a real pleasure and honor to work with Senator Daines on this bill, which we bring to the floor in a bipartisan manner. And so let me be brief in not trying to cover the ground that Senator Daines has already covered, but I agree. I think this is a good bill, one that we can all support. Let me add a few pieces to some of the highlights that my colleague laid out for you. First of those is the fact that this bill commits us to finally restoring GAO staffing to its 2011 levels. This is really important because every dollar that we appropriate to GAO gets about a $128 taxpayer return because of the efficiencies that they recommend that then get adopted. GAO lost about 343 staff from 2002-2003 during the sequester, and so we are putting them back to the place where they can do really, really important work for us. Second, let me reiterate the important investments we're making here in the Capitol Police. The threats that we face and our staff face and visitors face, they aren't imaginary. And again, it was a year ago last week when a gunman came after our colleagues in the House and the Senate at a baseball practice off campus. And so it's important that this bill recognizes that the threats we face are not just on campus, but are in other places around the Capitol, and put some resources to make sure that both the Capitol Police and the Senate Sergeant at Arms are making sure that members and staff are protected here on campus, but also at events off campus that may come with certain serious risks. CRS in this bill is put on a path to restore its 13% staff loss. Again, over the course of sequester, a lot of the agencies that serve us took some pretty serious hits. They don't make that up in this bill, but they are set on a path where they can get back to the kind of footing that we're putting GAO on in this legislation. A long-needed modernization of the Copyright Office is kicked off in this legislation. Again, that is a long-term plan, but we are kicking it off, and it's very, very much overdue. We are also beginning another process here that I think will be really important to the campus. We are beginning the process of exploring options to expand the size of the Senate Child Care Center. Pretty much every large employer in the country offers some level of child care services to employees. The Senate barely does that. We've got 6,200 employees and just 68 child care slots. There are actually only 9 infant slots here in the Senate. And the House, over the course of the last few years, has tripled the size of its child care center. We're going to begin taking a look at what the options might be to expand our capacity as well. And then let me just end by highlighting again this small fund in the bill that will allow senators to begin paying interns. Now, it's important to note this is totally optional. So any senator that wants to use this fund can, only for the purpose of paying interns. If they don't use it, it goes right back to the Treasury. But each of us have our own unique journey as to how we got here to be a United States Senator. Mine started as a Senate intern. I was an intern for my senator, Chris Dodd, but there's no way that I could have taken advantage of that opportunity had my family not had the resources to be able to send me down to Washington for a summer, had I not had the family resources to be able to pay rent for a summer. And the fact of the matter is that experience is foreclosed to far too many American children because many Senate offices, not all, but many Senate offices do not pay their interns. This would at least give the option for Senate offices to do the same. So let me again thank Senator Daines. We've worked really well together on this bill. To Chairman Shelby and to Vice Chairman Leahy, it is good that we are bringing back regular order, at least for now, on the appropriations process. My view is that the default position on these bills should be to allow amendments to come to the floor and to have a vote, that we shouldn't have to twist so many arms in order to get votes on amendments, that we shouldn't be afraid of putting our vote down on any particular amendment, whether it be an easy one or a tough one. And we're beginning to start exercising those muscles on this minibus. I thank Chairman Daines, Chairman Shelby, and Vice Chairman Leahy for their work in allowing us to bring this product to the floor. I'd yield back.